All right. 5:40.
Let me get that next one.
Good. Okay, so call the meeting to order, 5:41. Don't have a quorum, so let's skip to the chairperson's report. Okay, couple of items that aren't on here. We just, Renee and I just talked about them. We have a new intern, name's Leah. She's in grad school, SUNY Public Health. She just started. She seems to be pretty good. Last month, we participated in the Juneteenth parade. Anthony and I carried the banner in the parade. My arm's still recovering. Yeah, we're going to work on an improvement for next year. And we had a table and set up, and Lori, Renette, Cynthia was there, I was there. Much better event this year. We had a better location. We was at Clinton Square. We had a good location. During the time I was there, we had a handful of people that came by. You can tell that these community events matter. The people that come up don't really know about us. I think it's great exposure. I think it's something we need to do more often. Anthony's got a great schedule lined up, and we need to have participation from the board. And the next thing, I was just going to talk about Anthony's agenda. Anthony's got a great lineup of events this month. Tonight, there's participating in the Jazz in the City, right? Are we tables at that, or?
No, we're not tabling tonight because we had the meeting. We're not tabling tonight because we had the meeting, so there wasn't going to be like the time frame for us. We do have a presentation tomorrow with Mercy Works. We'll be going to present to the kids, letting them know about the mission and the policy and procedure with Syracuse Police. And then we have a couple of senior community fairs coming up with Interfaith Works. And off the top of my head, I know there are two other things, but I can't give you the title for them right now.
Okay, yeah. So
the Jazz in the City, if we go, we just walk around passing out materials,
Yeah.
but not just sitting at a table, because sometimes in those Jazz in the City events, sitting at a table is not really going to work. So it's just like bring brochures, pass them out, as people are sitting and relaxing, listening to music, just kind of just being seen in the vicinity. So it starts at 6:30. So
you sound like a lot of fun. Music, vendors, crafts, tables.
Yes.
Should be fun.
Yeah,
Worthwhile evenings.
it's a nice thing for a bunch of organizations to come out and give their information. It's actually a decent foot crowd too, so you're able to get the information out.
Right. More exposure, the better. And I guess the other thing is, the move into the new is moving along slowly. Renette can fill us in on the details of that. It's going to happen eventually, right? Okay. And that's about it.
all right, so we do have another intern. She is from On Point for College. She is a virtual intern. So she goes to, she's in South Carolina. We've had her for 2 years. So she does research online. We meet every Thursday. On Point for College still takes care of everything that needs to be done. This week she did research on residency requirements in the different police departments, who has them. I'll be sharing that with the board. Who has them, who doesn't, what incentives are being provided in other throughout other departments, and trying to improve that. She's researching license plate readers coming up as it relates to what other, cities have them, what are their thoughts in the community, things of that nature, and all of that information will be shared with the board. But so far, her information as it relates to the different police departments and the residency requirement, which we heard was one of the many reasons why there has been low numbers in these academies, and we just kind of wanted to see whether or not that was across the board. Is it just experiencing in Syracuse? What other incentives have police departments tried? Because that has been something that has been, a conversation of discussion a couple of times. So she recently worked on that. She also shared some information. We were talking to her about, how could we engage the youth? What other ways can we do it besides presentations? Should we try to do something on TikTok? Should we try to do, things of that nature? So she sent us a video to kind of review something on TikTok about how to do like a small interview or something of that nature. So we're going to look into that and see how we can improve that. And so she's going to give us that aspect as well. And so we try to provide as many opportunities as possible. The move is supposed to occur sometime in August. Is the date. There is money that is available for Packers, but it still has to come out of our budget. Like there's like a line item, kind of like, hey, we know that somebody might need Packers, so we've allocated for it, but there's a need for us to still use funds out of our budget to cover it. We also have funds in our budget for office, like we need a new storage cabinet, like things of that nature that need to be purchased once we get over there. We have funds available for that. You will see on the green paper listed as 2024. That is the budget for 2024. You can see the numbers as they are right now. And then you can see what was spent in 2023. As of right now, they are still moving money to pay bills out of some of those categories in terms of the contract services. So that is not finalized. So once we finish paying out all our accounts receivable, I'll then print you out a budget so you can see what were the final numbers in terms of what we utilized. You will see that we are giving back money. Most of the money that we are giving back is in the salary line, as it relates to just being short-staffed. We did try to allocate some of those funds and use them in the temporary services line. And we did, spend about $2,000, but it took a little while for us to even hire that community engagement fellow. So we weren't able to spend the amount that we would have loved to spend. The contract services, you can see how much we have encumbered in terms of our expenses and what we have allotted. We continue to look to that. In the 2024 budget, you will see that there's two sides. Yep, so flip this one, flip that one. In the 2024 budget, you see in that rent, professional services, and contract services line, you see the new number there opposed to 2023. And that is where that $65,000 went for the investigator and the software. So you see it's under 541,500. You see what we were allocated in the budget for 2023, and then now you see what we were allocated in the budget for 2024, and that's the difference. The 65 for the 60 for the 50. The 50 for the investigator and 15,000 for software. So we'll continue to move forward as it relates to that. We do have positions that are open for the board that we need to be filling as much as possible and as soon as possible. So we'll be talking about that more. So far, in the year of 2023, we have a total of 35 cases. We received 12 new cases in the month of June. We seem to be increasing in terms of the number of complaints. We received about 4 online, so that seems to be helping as well. The police department received a few online too, so that came in as well.
Can I ask?
Yes.
When the police department receives complaints, they forward them to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So same thing that we do. So we so if CRB receives a complaint, we send it automatically to them as well, even if it comes by email, in person, or by mail. And then same thing with the PD, they send it over as well. City email. So there was a in Sue Katzoff email. She alluded to us seeking the ability to get every board member a city email. We need to vote on whether or not that's something that you guys want to do. I don't think we really need to vote. We just kind of need a consensus as to if you guys were given that, would you utilize it? Because
Is she coming next month?
she's coming next month. We were going to try to get them to come this month. They thought that it was virtual, but it's not. So we're going to work it out, and hopefully they come next month. But that is the, situation. So we need to figure out where we go from there. And that would be a means of her being able to communicate with you guys instead of communicating with your personal emails or anything that is, anything that is of concern. In your folders, you will see that there are 2 potential board members that are there. We have a Michael, is his name Michael?
Mike Kerwin.
Michael Kerwin, and there is Lamont Mitchell. We were provided with Michael's information through Bren, and Lamont was our community engagement fellow. His term as our community engagement fellow has ended because it was only for last fiscal year, and he's open to see. So whatever the board decides, what will happen is if you guys voted to decide to choose either one of these 2, we would then notify the council that the board proposes this particular person, and then hopefully they would appoint that person to the CRB. So I know we do have a quorum currently, but I do think that it's a full board kind of decision. I would think, so I mean, that's kind of up to you guys, but in terms of that, you have them now, and I can circulate them via email as to what you guys want to do. But we do need to try to get somebody in the 4th district as soon as possible for rotation. We're almost coming up a year, or if not more, maybe a year, as to an appointment.
Yeah, so why don't we submit these online, so then
Yeah, so I will send it out.
and vote online.
Yeah, so we can do that so that we can move forward as it relates to that. Does anybody want to talk about either one? But we have the, okay.
I will, because I recommended him, I'll speak for a minute about Mike Kerwin. I've known Mike, I know he looks like a Syracuse police officer, and you might think that would not recommend him for this. But if you know Mike and you know that the way that he works, he was both a police officer, he went to law school when he was a police officer, and now represents criminal defendants. And I know him through his work with kids. He represents kids in family court and in juvenile delinquents and delinquent proceedings. And I find him to be very thorough, very careful, because he knows what the police should do. He is very critical when they have not done what they should do, especially with children, especially with juvenile delinquent cases. And he's very effective in getting better resolutions for his clients, because he knows when they've messed up, and he knows how to hold them accountable in a way that I, for example, wouldn't know a lot of things about that. So you might look on the surface and say he's a police officer and he's going to have a certain perspective, but my knowledge of him is that he is maybe unexpected, and if he were here to talk, I'm sure that he would have more to say about that.
So we have had a few ex-police officers on the board. We had one to come off, not too long ago. So, you know, we have the gamut and we're open to all of that. So it always brings a very healthy discussion, which is always great. So, you know, we shouldn't look at that because we have had them and they have worked out a number of different times throughout other administrators just beside me. It seems like every administrator has had a police officer on the board at some period of time, so it's not uncommon. You know, we just haven't had one in like 2 years.
I would definitely speak on, there's no bias as far as who can be on the board.
Yeah.
It's never that. The only thing is the commitment. That's it.
That's the issue.
As you can see.
That's it. Yeah. And having that open mind to be able to read, we get a lot of information, read it, you know, come with your questions. Raynette is good at if we have anything outside of what's the policy, what does this look like, and have a healthy discussion on how do we feel, because it's not just because somebody made a complaint or because a particular police officer was involved that, you know, we judge the evidence.
And don't let the fact that he plays the bagpipes, don't hold it against him.
That was news to me. For
Ernie, he lives down the street, I can hear him. I don't like the bagpipes, but.
Well, you can hold that against him.
No, he's,
Hold it against him. I think that's an asset.
no, some people, like my wife, really, anyway.
So his audition, he has to come here and play, mic'd up and everything.
You would welcome that.
He's killed, which I've also
And a kill.
really enjoyed a lot.
So as you guys know, in June, we went to the Zero Abuse Conference. We talked about it. I didn't know if anybody had any more questions about it. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry. It was it's very helpful. It's been very helpful since we've returned. Let me just say that. And so that's the reason why I wanted to point it out, because I know that it was an outside of the box kind of training, but it has been helpful, and I believe that it's going to continue to be helpful as we continue to move about in our community and understanding people and youth and life. And so I just wanted to say, like, we appreciate that opportunity to do that. NACO trainings, I'll just bring up, you guys should have all received emails that I registered you for whatever the gamut is. That was just the registration link for all of them that may take place. Then as it gets ready for the thing, you will get another email that says, hey, you're registered for this. This is the one that you use to listen to it. So just wanting you guys to know that, that was just hey, for July to December, you're registered, but each individual one will have its own link. And I think that is all that we had to really cover. I know, I will have to tell you guys that we are experiencing some serious technology issues in the office, like more than normal. So we get a lot of body-worn camera footage, and it's taking up a lot of, so before, everything's digital. And so we have to save body-worn camera footage to our drives. We are running out of space, consistently, all the time, running out of space. But before I would give it to our private investigator, I wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't save it. And plus, we need to be able to have it digitally for you guys. Because if not, again, we would be in situations where you wouldn't be able to see the body-worn camera until we got into executive session, and then you're spending hours. So I have several tickets into IT as it relates to this particular issue and trying to figure out what's going on. But it's a serious problem. And we have to be able to review the body worn camera footage. I know in the new office space, we are going to have our own conference room, and it will have a TV in it, and it will have the ability to look at body worn camera on big screen, but I still have to download it. So they need to figure out something as it relates to, even though it's in the cloud, your OneDrive still runs out of space. And so I'm thoroughly confused about that part. So, bear with us as it relates to that, but it's a serious issue that we are having, and you guys need to see the footage.
Does it have to be downloaded to a city hard drive, or can you get a 5 terabyte hard drive?
They would still have to provide it to me.
Oops.
The city would have to still provide me with an external hard drive in order to do that, but then I would still need some way to give it to you guys.
But once you download it, you'll have plenty of space, and you can just upload it to us.
The problem is that on our Dropbox, our storage space on our Dropbox is full. So I can't Dropbox it to you either. And we are trying to figure out a different way because they don't really want us to use Dropbox either.
So it can't be
want us
just
to
straight
use,
emailed?
no, it's too big to email.
Oh.
So that's the issue that we're running into. So we are having, we have to have some serious discussions as to what to do, because even so when I would join Dropbox, so I would be pulling the file from our shared drive, copying it and dropping it over there to Dropbox, but it's still associated. So now it's almost like it's duplicated on our system because we're still, you know what I mean? So now I just don't have enough space. So it's a IT discussion that the consultant that I have been calling every time to talk about it, he says that he was happy that I could contribute to, he could utilize us as a, hey, for example, this is why her system keeps shutting down, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
So he's using us to complain to the city?
As an example as to, hey, this is like they knew that. I think there was we know it's gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? And here's a prime example as to it's here.
Can you use Teams?
How do you share? You could.
So you could you'll create a group with just the CRB.
Right.
And then inside that there's a taskbar. You can also upload files, and it's all shared.
And we can
So
just
you
click
Right,
on it.
but
we have to go into
Right.
But would it have the additional space different than what our system allows for us to drop those things in there? Or would it be duplicate?
So it would depends upon how you guys set it up with Microsoft.
Okay, yeah,
But we can upload, I upload stuff, whenever we bargaining committee members, I'll upload stuff for them to do their assignments. Hey, and I get notified when they complete their assignments, and Teams is great.
Okay, so let me, you know what I mean? I'm not.
And then we could take our own money that we have and buy our own 10 terabyte hard drive or whatever, a whole tower.
John,
With
you
our own
proposed
stuff.
5 terabyte earlier.
Well, 5, yeah, well, 10 if it's running on that much. If you can fill up 5 terabytes, that's a whoa.
We are,
I don't think you understand how much.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that there are some times that there's body worn camera footage, as we know, that's 30 minutes long. And depending on if it's more than one officer out there for those 30 minutes, that could be times 5.
But when that case is done, we just delete it. Then.
No, you would delete it, but I can't. So I can't even get it to you.
You can't delete it.
I can't delete it.
No, I'm saying from the hard drive, after a certain amount of time, after we voted on a case or whatever, why couldn't, you gotta keep it forever? Well, then the whole world is gonna run out of stuff at that point.
Because if something were to happen to our paper file, I mean, I guess this is a deeper discussion as to what, because we would have to look at, I guess, you look at retention. The protocols as it relates to retention. You have to keep stuff, what,
As an attorney, 7 years.
you get what I'm saying?
Videos or paper?
Anything,
Patient
everything.
records.
I wonder what other departments do on this.
They ain't getting this much
Yeah,
body
they
worn
probably
camera
not
footage.
getting, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what
We
to
need to have a
do.
policy
And
related to retention.
yeah, we have to figure out what to do, but you guys gotta be able to see all of the body worn camera footage in enough time for y'all to view it. Which is the reason why typically we send it out, so y'all at least have 5 or 6 days to review it, because, you know, it can be long, it can be short.
Is this something to go before the common council?
I don't know.
Is there, do they have a committee?
I think first they would have to know what the city can do and what's the capacity.
Or is there
They are the
departments?
city.
No, what I'm saying was she working with IT. First, you
Oh,
gotta
with the
see,
city.
yeah, what the city can do, and then that way
I
you
wanna
gotta
know the
go.
right questions to ask as it relates to technology and what platforms and things of that nature. And I'm not really savvy with Teams. I know they want us to use something other than Dropbox.
Yeah.
And so,
Teams
because
is a
for
big deal.
security, you know what I mean? For security reasons, that's why we stopped emailing and we went to Dropbox.
Does our website have a system?
It's in Open Cities is the system in which where the people submit the form and then it just automatically gets emailed to us. I don't know on the back end.
So we don't have our own email system on that? Like my website has like.
No,
10
it's
emails.
directed to a particular person. And it gets sent to us via email. So they go online, they go to Open Cities, they fill out the form, and then it gets sent to an email that you direct Open Cities to send you an email that says, hey, this person filed a complaint form. Even our CRB email does not allow me to email from the CRB email. It is only a box that you can receive email into.
So this is all, I'm a just tech idiot, but it seems like we need to figuratively rent somebody who understands all this.
A paid consultant to
Right,
guide us
just
through
a
That sounds like
one-time
slavery.
thing, somebody can just translate our needs, which you seem to know, and present it to the powers that be, whatever that.
We gotta
department-
figure out something.
Somebody needs, we need to be good about it.
We have money to figure it out?
We have,
Do we have money?
I mean, we have what we have, and then we have to figure out where we go from there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Cause there's companies that come and do this stuff that we have a problem with.
but I think, so when we asked for the software system, let's go back to that. This was the kind of stuff that we knew we were gonna run into an issue with, which was why we wanted software.
From the city though.
No, from software, like we were looking at a software vendor who would be able to assist with these kind of issues in terms of ways in which you guys could review materials, ways in which the community could see, because this system is not working, but we didn't get the amount of funding that we requested.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So, I mean, we have lines of service, depending on, we always can move money that we have from one section to another section to cover things.
Do we need to vote on stuff like that?
I usually bring it to you guys' attention and say, hey, you know what I mean? We got excess money over here and we're gonna move it over, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, but pretty much, and that's like, not really, because the budget is the budget, and I'm just saying, hey, move it so we can do this. But yeah, it's something that we talk to you about.
If you can hire someone and they can build us our own network.
But that's what so that's why they did Open Cities and created a new website for the city, was because they didn't want people to have different stuff. And I guess that's why we have an ID department for the city, because they want to control what's happening in each department. So,
Well, we've always been separate from the city's normal day-to-day business anyway.
not in terms of IT, we are not. So we have to function within the city's IT help desk procedures and things of that nature.
It seems like every department, as I sit and watch Common Council, as I sit and watch the budget, there appears to be unlimited amount of systems. Every department seems to have, like, they come forward, we need this because we need this, and there is a citywide thing, but they all
There
have their
is.
own individual that are specific to
I
their
just
own.
don't know
Like,
where
we
they
need-
get the money from in order to pay for that portion is the extra stuff. Like, I don't mind coming to the council and saying, hey, can we, cause it's any purchase that's over $1,200, you know what I mean? Unless already previously allocated, you have to go before the council and say, hey, can we utilize this money for such and such? We've got 3 different vendors. This is the RFP process. You know what I mean? Same way technology had to go. IT had to go before them and say, hey, this is the system that we have to go before them. So we're gonna need 3 different people that is gonna say they're gonna charge XYZ, and we're gonna usually go with the cheapest. But the thing is, and that's how we enter into a RFP, but we have to have the money for it. So we have to look and see whether or not we have the money to hire some sort of outside. We did get $15,000 for technology. We did get that. So we have $15,000 to figure out what's technically going on, but we still would have to have that same RFP process that would say, hey, this is what we're using.
So we got that money now.
Yes.
Is there time enough to pull that together? 'Cause
Yeah.
that seems to be
Yeah.
crucial.
I mean,
Well, this is
it's just,
fixable then.
it's fixable. I mean, it's just going. What case you want me not investigate the case?
I just think that your time is
third
better spent elsewhere than
Would
sorting
we like
out.
to make a technology subgroup board members?
Look at all the hands
I'll
committee?
call some companies for you and they'll come and figure this mess out, you know?
They make
May not be who
make just
oversees
kind of a
this.
plan or propose a plan that over the course of the next month, you keep us updated through email as to what's going on, how we can help, because this is a serious issue, and as Bryn said, your time is better spent doing something other than dealing with how to save body-worn camera footage. And then next month, actually put it on the agenda, and hopefully we have more than 6 here, and we can have a serious conversation about it.
Okay. Yep. I can do that. And then
I do think in between that time, definitely reach out to Microsoft, because the city of Syracuse bought their program, and see what they can come and tell you about how to utilize.
So we'll figure out when we can do a Teams meeting with Microsoft Teams or with somebody from the city. And
How were we meeting
we'll
before?
see how
Was that Teams or that
No,
was?
we were doing WebEx. We used to have WebEx,
was
and now we're on
WebEx, yep.
Teams. So I just don't know enough about the platform, but I don't mind setting up a time for which we can hopefully meet with somebody who knows more about the Microsoft Teams and can kind of break it down to us.
No, but just not Microsoft Teams, just the whole Microsoft 365.
No,
So like,
That's
there's
what I'm saying.
so much.
But yes, yeah, because I don't have time to play around with it
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what it can do that I don't know it can do.
Yeah.
I just
So who's the person,
No, I'm just saying, because usually,
Someone from IT
yes,
should have a contact.
they should have,
There's
when you
a
purchase,
contact.
this program isn't like, when companies purchase this, you are supposed to tell us and teach us how to use it.
It's support.
Yes.
within.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. And maybe IT can facilitate.
I got it on
that
my
maybe.
When do they want a soft Dropbox by? Immediately or?
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like I can't even drop. I couldn't even drop you everything you needed on Dropbox.
Is that
Can you put it on flash drives?
They're not
That's a
gonna like
risk.
that.
That's a risk.
You can drop it,
That's
lose
easy
it,
to
somebody can
lower.
steal it.
IT wants you off Dropbox?
I don't have space on Dropbox. I couldn't even download everything that you guys. I couldn't even drop you what you needed.
Who wants a soft Dropbox?
The police department says that it's not as secure as we would like it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I mean, I think that that's the reason why.
We meet once a month. We meet, right?
Yeah.
So if we met a third week and watched the film, would that help for a month? For 1 month to figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to figure out something. I'm gonna have
Or
to.
not even meet, just schedule a time. Anybody can just say, hey, can I come down and watch videos today?
Yeah, Richard came
did that
down.
yesterday.
He came down.
Or-
Although he had to come watch it on my computer because mine was the only one that would work.
Or
Right?
if we went on a Zoom, you can actually take over the Zoom and it can
Yeah,
go to your
that's what we
computer
did. Yeah,
and
that's what
play
we
it
did
then.
before. Yep. So that's what we did before on the WebEx.
WebEx.
I would share my screen and you guys would watch the body worn camera that way. So we can do all of that. But as of right now,
My wife's
can't-
pretty sad, like, she couldn't get, like, I mean, she couldn't figure it out. So that's why I went down to Renette to watch.
Okay.
Endless video.
Endless?
Well, it's a lot for this one guy. But
For the one today?
leave it at that, yeah, let's leave it,
Oh, I didn't get that.
I
Oh,
know. That's why.
which is why.
Which is
Yeah.
I like to restrict that. I like to restrict that from the record. Wow.
We'll get to that, we'll get to that.
But yeah.
The 10 terabytes aren't set up yet.
You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that is about it. We got any community groups?
Wow.
Because we could be here all night. Anybody else want to talk? Anybody else got anything? All right.
Actually, if we're all done with administrator's report before committee report, should we approve June meeting minutes?
Nope.
Do we not have them?
Correct.
Ah,
Talk about that later.
No, but was Mays?
Huh.
Since June, they didn't have quorum right in June.
Yeah, but you still have some minutes.
do we have minutes being taken today?
Yeah, right now.
All right.
I don't know why I looked up.
Oh,
Then they need to be typed up.
Okay,
God.
good.
Motion to
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Wait, no, we
Yep.
have
What?
public comment first.
There's nobody. Nobody's
Stop
gonna
it.
make a comment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Motion to adjourn,
All
second.
right. I just need you guys in executive session. for
Okay, I've got more.
a few minutes.